past 3 years have been most challenging for northern Mindanao and the world at large. Just a few months shy since the start of the new term of the Regional Development Council in 2019, the COVID-19 pandemic upended everyone's lives. The pandemic exposed the many holes in our social safety net and made government realize that things will not go back to pre-pandemic normal. The country's long-term goal remains the same: to bring Filipinos closer to a strongly rooted, comfortable, and secure life. This has become more significant with the emergence of new threats. The RDC-10 immediately grabbed the chance to turn the crisis into an opportunity. Despite the difficulties and challenges of coming together because of the pandemic, the full council managed to conduct a total of 23 on-site, virtual and hybrid meetings from the second semester of 2019 to the first semester of 2022. The council passed 595 resolutions in the same period. It started with the approval of the Regional Development Plan 2017 to 2022 midterm update. The plan is a product of a series of planning activities and public consultations to ensure that it responds to current needs and mainstreams the Executive Order No. 70, or the whole-of-nation approach, to attain inclusive and sustainable peace through the Convergence Areas for Peace and Development, or the CAPDEV program. Anchored on the vision of the region to be the gateway and leading industrial core and trade center in southern Philippines, the RDC-10 supported the final report and pre-feasibility studies under the Master Plan for the Sustainable Urban Infrastructure Development in Metropolitan Cagayan de Oro. The plan intends to spur the growth of investments and maintain Metro CDO's position as the primary urban center in the region. It is a proactive response to translate the Philippine Development Plan 2017 to 2022 projection for Metro CDO as the fourth metropolitan city in the country by 2025, anchored on the core strategies of the National Spatial Strategy for Regional Agglomeration, Connectivity, and Vulnerability Reduction. In support of said master plan, the Council proposed a governance mechanism for the Metro Cagayan de Misamis. Under the leadership of Governor Philip T. Tan, the RDC-10 monitored the implementation of the following big-ticket projects: rehabilitation of the Agus Pulangi hydropower plants under Phase 1 to enable the plants to meet Mindanao's growing power demand while providing low-cost clean energy. The upgrading, expansion, operation, and maintenance of the Laguindingan Airport to support the development of the Cagayan de Oro Iligan Corridor growth area. The Ranao Agus River Basin Flood Control Project to reduce the flood risks by developing flood protection infrastructures. Passenger A-Tracer system for the locally stranded individuals and returning overseas Filipinos. The RDC-10 pushed for the following policies: retainment of 2G and 3G cellular phone services as part of the Cellular Mobile Telecommunications Service Resilient Network, to narrow the digital divide through equitable access to basic telecommunication services in last-mile areas in the country, strengthening the resiliency of information and communications technology fiber optic networks, accelerate the acquisition of road right-of-way for government infrastructure projects. Recognizing the region's role as the food basket of the Philippines, the Council sustained the synergy and regional support on value chain approaches in agri-enterprise development, industry growth, and rural empowerment. The Council endorsed and supported the Rural Agro-Enterprise Partnership for Inclusive Development and Growth, or the RAPID Growth, the Philippine Rural Development Project, second additional financing, and the Mindanao Inclusive Agriculture Development Project. The Council also endorsed various policies and plans to expand economic opportunities of the region's agriculture, industry, and services sectors. These include the policy recommendations for the corn industry modernization, key mining reforms and amendments of the People's Small-Scale Mining Act, proposed economic zones and identified idle public lands as potential areas to be declared as economic zones in the region, and the Coconut Farmers and Industry Development Plan. Various programs, such as the Provincial Agriculture and Fisheries Extension Program, the 10-year Land Titling Program in the Philippines, and the Competitiveness Agenda through the annual Cities and Municipalities Competitiveness Survey have been supported. The Council was instrumental in the creation of the Regional Interagency Task Force on African Swine Fever to steer the region's measures in proactively preventing and controlling outbreaks in the livestock industry. The Council undertook trailblazing efforts along science, technology, and innovation. It supported and endorsed the AutoBest Innovation Program. The collaboration efforts of the DOST, the private sector, and the academia significantly influenced the emerging innovation landscape of the region. The RDC-10 proactively pushed for a balanced, sustainable, and climate change adaptive regional growth and development to maintain the ecological integrity of the region alongside economic growth. Policies and programs pushed forward include the regular tree growing program every March and June, support to the nationally determined contribution of the Philippines, endorsement of the Upper Bukidnon River Basin Watershed Management Framework, and the management of COVID health-related waste, among others. One notable initiative is the capacity building for LGUs on farm-to-market road proposal preparation. The committee also provided advisory services for industry-related research studies, such as the NEDA-10 Commission study competitiveness analysis of the region as a potential location for the establishment of an integrated steel mill in the Philippines. Due to the urgency of addressing conflicting tenurial claims in the region, the Council created the Interagency Committee for Conflict Resolution of Tenurial Claims. It correspondingly established the One Map, a geospatial database that consolidates all titles and tenurial instruments issued in the region. The map facilitates the identification of conflicting tenurial claims and serves as the foundation for all decisions relating to land use and land classification by the RDC-10. The Council also approved and adopted the terms of reference for resolution of conflicting tenurial claims in Region 10. The RDC-10 took on a game changer to attain just and lasting peace and sustainable and inclusive development. The conceptualization of the CapDev program, which is the banner program of Region 10 to implement EO70, involved many agencies at the core of the program's design in 2019. Through the CapDev program, the region mobilized resources for conflict-affected, conflict-vulnerable, poverty-stricken, and geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. The Council also approved the COVID-19 and Typhoon Odette rehabilitation and recovery programs. The Council endorsed the full implementation of the Magna Carta of Public Health Workers and the salary standardization among local government health workers to the DOH Central Office. At the height of the pandemic, it supported the following response initiatives: establishment of local epidemiology and surveillance units, establishment of RT-PCR laboratory in each province and highly urbanized city in northern Mindanao, advocacy and promotion of the Bida Solusyon, Bida Bastonero campaign, and implementation of the Kamusta Ka hotline. As COVID-19 impacted the education sector, the committee conducted a partnership forum for basic education learning continuity in September 2020. This is a trailblazing effort of the RDC-10 in engaging with the business sector and civic organizations in ensuring the learning continuity in the basic education sector. In support of the academe, industry-government collaboration, the Council approved the regional priority courses for higher education. These priority courses supports the labor market demands and needed skills in the 2022 Jobs Fit Report and area-based and demand-driven skills priorities. The Council also pushed for the inclusion of the Resettlement Action Plan as basis for the approval of budget proposals of national and regional line agencies implementing projects with right-of-way acquisition. The plan also enjoined the LGUs in the region to conduct land banking for settlement expansion. On September 9, 2019, the committee conducted a Culture and Peace Colloquium with the theme, Kultura at Kapayapaan tungo sa matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. The colloquium promoted culture, peace, and conflict sensitivity in the development processes to impact inclusive and sustainable development. To support information-based decisions, the Council sanctioned studies in partnership with the state universities and colleges, defining the LCAC state, its parameters and indicators and means of verification. Multidimensional analysis of determinants in the academic achievement of basic education learners in the region, its implication to higher education institutions. Client satisfaction survey on the services of the 1st and 4th Infantry Divisions of the Philippine Army, and determining the factors contributing to the substantial decline of poverty rates in northern Mindanao. The RDC-10 Secretariat led and steered the region's task force for COVID-19 recovery cluster through the conduct of 38 cluster meetings. The said cluster endorsed 7 policy recommendations, which were all adopted by the NMTF and the Interagency Task Force for COVID-19. As member of the Regional Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, the RDC Secretariat regularly submitted and presented updates on economic parameters as part of the RIATF's consideration in recommending appropriate quarantine level of the region and some localities. Timely and seemingly round-the-clock work of the members of the Council to manage the pandemic and drive for economic recovery. The RDC-10 conducted its first RDC Excellence Award in September 2021. It honored RDC-10 members and development partners who demonstrated unwavering commitment and embodied excellence in carrying out the Council's mandated functions. This is the Filipinos' vision. By 2040, the Philippines is a prosperous middle-class society where no one is poor. People live long and healthy lives and are smart and innovative. The country is a high-trust society where families thrive in vibrant, culturally diverse, and resilient communities. In accordance with its mandated functions as prescribed in Executive Order No. 325, Series of 1996, the RDC-10, as the highest planning and policy-making body in the region, continued to serve as the primary institution that coordinates and sets the direction of all economic and social development efforts in the region. In line with national priorities, the next government shall build smart infrastructure, pursue innovation, improve regional equity, and address climate change. Smart infrastructure is a result of better planning and implementation of projects that integrate transport development, digital communication, urban planning, land use, water use, and environmental protection. Its key results are smart cities and communities that prioritize the people's overall living experience. Innovation is key to sustaining upper middle-income country status and achieving high-income country status in one generation. Important not only in high technology, but also in basic sectors like agriculture and government services. Along regional equity, the equitable distribution of resources across regions is crucial for more inclusive growth. Equally important is to mitigate and adapt to the impact of climate change, which should now be at the heart of socio-economic planning.
Maayong adlaw sa tanan. History has shown that The decisions made during a crisis will shape our world for decades to come. On behalf of the Regional Development Council of Region 10, I am honored to serve the people of Northern Mindanao at this critical time. The policies and projects that the Council endorsed, which led to our economy bouncing back better, is a demonstration of the sustained commitment and support of the officials and members of the RDC-10. As we transition to the next term, I call on everyone's collective action to build economies that deliver inclusive economic growth, prosperity, and safety for all. Daghang salamat, and may the Lord bless us all and the entire Region 10 of Northern Mindanao.